And welcome back to Wandering Through Wayne's World. Excuse me. You know, we spoke about this before on the show, and we live in Florida, and not only is this the lightning capital of the world, but this has got to be the rain capital of the world. And if you live close to the beach, you got flooding and roads, and that seems to somehow make it into your home. Well, it also makes it into your home when your upstairs tenant's washer overflows or a pipe breaks. What do you do? What do you do when that happens? Do you vacuum it up? You know, sometimes the simple answers are not as simple as we might think. With me is Kurt Stewart. Hi, Kurt.
How you doing?
And you're with Service Team of Professionals.
Yes.
And you are a restoration company.
Yes.
Okay, so people got the wrong idea. You don't just mop up the water and everything's hunky-dory.
No. We do water extraction. We have the machines to really, get most all the water out of your carpets or off your floors, and then we do structural drying behind that. And we have meters, so we know what the moisture content is in the walls, and we can get it to the proper moisture content, so everything's safe, and you won't have any mold that way.
Correct me if I'm wrong, and I'm not an expert, but water seems to make its own path.
Yes, it'll go every place.
And its path usually, a sheetrock wall is like a sponge to
Yeah, 2 inches of water will go up your wall 1.5 feet within 24 hours.
Wow, that's pretty. And we don't really get to see that.
No.
The naked eye really can't see that.
No, we have thermal imaging cameras that we can take pictures, and that shows all your moisture content in your walls.
So I'm guessing, because most of us would think, oh look, mold's built up, we got to do a total demolition job. But if you have the right equipment, then maybe you only cut a piece out and replace it.
Right. Well, that's our objective, is to get in there as quickly as possible, extract the water, and save. Try to save everything. The quicker we get in it, the more we can save.
What made you get into this?
Well, I come from the snow belt of New York.
Okay.
And we wanted to come to Florida, so we said, let's go down and start a restoration company in Florida. I mean, what a great spot to have a restoration company.
Right. Besides the fact that we have all this rain and stuff, we have a lot of senior citizens.
Yes.
Okay. And since my mom is 84, I surely understand some of the things that they do unintentionally, Mom, if you're watching. Okay. Yeah. Like overflood the sink.
Yeah, that's very common. Very common.
Right. And you know what I find common here, and I don't know how much often you into it, but it seems water seems to back up and come out the drains in a lot of places.
Yes, it does. Everything from, sewage backups, we respond at, to those, and, washing machines and dishwashers are constantly, having issues.
Right, the pipe and the little pipes corrode from the heat, I guess.
Yeah.
And especially if you have a snowbird who's here 6 months and gone 6 months, and that 6 months that you're not here using that stuff, it dries out.
Yes, it does, for sure. And
it
gets brittle and cracks, and as soon as they get here and turn it on is when they have a problem.
Okay, so is water, like a flood, is it that terrible a thing, or is it really controllable if you get to it on time?
Well, very controllable. If they call us, we usually can respond within an hour to that home and start extracting the water and getting it out of there. And a lot of times we can just dry it out. We'll pull back the carpets if there's carpets, and that way you haven't got to replace everything, and we really save a lot of money that way.
Okay, so I come home, I have some flooding. What's the first thing I should do?
Is get the water. You got to extract the water.
Okay. I guess before that you should turn off whatever.
Absolutely. You find a valve. It could be the main valve to the house or a valve under your sink. It's your closest valve to turn that water off. Absolutely.
It's interesting. When we took this space here, there's a space next to us, and the owner works at the other side of the building, and his worker came in one day, and she saw water piling out from underneath the door. When this building was built, stupidity was put into place, and they put the water heaters in the ceiling.
Right, yeah.
Okay?
Very
and the
common.
air conditioners.
That's very common.
Is it?
What? Yeah, there's so many houses here that have the air conditioners used to be up there, and it creates a mold issues because those small drips, you don't see them when they're in your ceilings
Right.
until it's too late.
Okay, so now, you're a snowbird, you have some flooding, you come back, you don't know when it was, okay, you don't know what kind of damage you have. They call you, you come, what do you look for first? I mean, how do you, what's your plan of attack?
Well, we go in there and assess the situation. You know, first of all, you got to make sure there's no more leaks, right?
Okay.
That's your first step, and then we'll take a look at, make sure, you know, see where your water is, how far, you know, what's wet, and what needs to be remediated, if anything, what we can save, and you know, it's usually an insurance claim when it's that big, and we work very closely with the insurance companies to make sure, you know, the homeowner's getting everything they pay for.
Okay, so I've come back, and now you come to the house, and along the baseboard, the white baseboard, you see black, which
Mold.
is mold.
Yes.
You can't, can you treat that, or does it have to be removed and replaced?
You have to remove mold for safety reasons, of course.
Okay, so really, it's not like people say, oh, well, you know, I scrubbed it with bleach.
No, you have to, usually it's just along the baseboards. You can try to remediate maybe, you know, 2 foot of wall, and then you're only replacing 2 foot of wall instead of replacing everything, because that mold will grow.
Really?
Oh yeah, behind your walls, if you can see it along your baseboards, you've probably got 2 foot of mold in your wall.
Wow. You know, and these are things that we really don't know. You know, I was looking at your card, and I see a stop sign. What's that?
That stands for Service Team of Professionals.
Oh, okay. So that's an interesting way to an acronym. I guess, you know, stop the mold, stop any further damage, Service Team of Professionals.
Yes.
Okay, how long have you up here been doing this?
We just moved here in the beginning of 2016 to start our business.
And it's 24 hours.
24-hour service. You call us any time of the day or night, weekends, it doesn't matter.
Just bother your wife if you call at night? Just saying.
She doesn't answer the phone, so no.
And it's really, you know, we were talking in the green room, we were talking about, you know, kids, and you now have an 18-year-old who you would like to get into the business with
Yes,
you.
18-year-old and a 22-year-old actually here in the business with me.
But the 18-year-old is a little more difficult because he has all the answers already.
Of course he has all the answers. He's 18.
Yeah, so he knows everything he needs because he's 18.
Yeah.
You know, it's funny because kids are, like, I built this business and with the thought that it'd be for my kids.
Right.
You know, I'm already
Absolutely. Me too.
59,
Yeah.
so it's like, how much longer can I stay? But you know what? My daughter's in D.C. and she's 27 now, but she's engaged to an attorney. I don't think she's ever coming back to do this. Okay, he works for the second largest patent company in the country, so
Nice.
I don't think that she's coming back here. I went up there and it's like, I could never live that way. And we live in paradise. This is paradise.
Oh, that's beautiful around here.
Okay, and you know, we had some connection in the fact that we both love fishing. So it seems like your life is built around water.
Yeah.
You can't seem to get away from it.
No. Good and bad with it.
Right, good and bad with it. Okay, so how do people get in touch with you?
Well, my phone number is 772-233-9089. Again, 24 hours a day, 7 days a week. Or at stop.treasurecoastrestoration.com is our website.
And as you've been watching, you've been seeing it posted on above our heads. You know, a couple things. One is, Kurt doesn't need to be called tomorrow, okay, for not a problem. But you need to have his number written down on your refrigerator or somewhere. Because when that emergency happens, you got to be on it immediately. And that's the problem with most people. They don't have they don't look at what might be an emergency.
Right.
Okay?
Yes.
So they flood and they come home and everything's flooded and they turn on the thing and they have no clue what to do. And now they first have to go searching. This is your chance not to have to go searching. Okay? It's not if it's going to happen, it's usually when it's going to happen, because something with water, with water heaters, just seems to come along. Everywhere I've been, I've had some or seen some issues, especially if you're in a condo, 2-story or 3-story, whatever. You got to worry about what happens in your unit. You got to worry about what happens in the unit above you, on the unit beside you, and on the other side of you. So what would it take to sit for 1 minute, write down the phone number, okay, which is
772-233-9089.
have it on your refrigerator with the rest of your important numbers, because when that emergency happens, you want to be right on top of it. Kurt, I want to thank you for coming on.
Thank you very much. I appreciate
It was
it.
a pleasure. Everybody stay tuned. We'll be right back.